Hello and welcome back with another character data file. Today we're going to talk about Dr. Beverly Crusher, aka the Dancing Doctor.
What?
Alright, hang on.
Don't want to be known as the Dancing Doctor.
Noted, so we talk about this later. So as I mentioned, today we're going to talk about Dr. Beverly Crusher. Beverly Crusher was the Chief Medical Officer of the Enterprise D. We got to know her from the series Star Trek The Next Generation. She born in 2324 in Copernicus City in Moon. Her parents were killed in an accident and she actually been raised by her grandmother. Her childhood was mostly happy, but she had more problems to actually developing friendships and friends around her. And she happened to be quite rude until she realized, okay, she had to be more nicer because otherwise she won't be able to have friends or even romantic relationships. In between 2342 and 2350, she attended Starfleet Academy. While she was attending the academy, she met Jack Crusher, who he later became her husband. Just after their marriage, a year later, Wesley was born. In 2353, Jack Crusher and Beverly basically served on the USS Stargazer, commanded by Captain Picard. Unfortunately, in an away mission, Jack Crusher actually died. And basically, Captain Picard carried his dead body over to Beverly. In 2364, she joined the Enterprise D as a medical officer, although a year later she left the Enterprise to become the head of Starfleet Medical, though she didn't really felt herself really happy. She was actually missing her crewmates and she missing her adventures in the Enterprise. While she was away from the Enterprise, she'd been replaced by Dr. Pulaski, who actually was a really interesting character, and we want to talk about her as well in this character data file series. When she returned to the Enterprise, she remained in the Enterprise, so she never left the Enterprise, and even after the destruction of Enterprise D, she actually remained in the Enterprise E, but let's talk about this later. She was a really good medic, and she was actually quite a good poker player as well. She was attending quite a few nights with Commander Riker, Worf and Geordi over the poker table. And she even happened to be in command a few times. Although she was a good doctor, she had conflicts with the Prime Directive multiple occasions. She openly conflicted Captain Picard over the Brackens and the Ornorax drug exchange. She rescued Liko, a Mintaka, which later almost caused a confusion and paranoia in the planet Mintaka. Basically, they started to think Picard is a god, and that was really against of the Prime Directive. She also pointed out slavery with Kamala. Kamala was the perfect mate, actually, we got to know from the perfect mate, and she really got close to Captain Picard. She rescued a Borg in the Argolis cluster, later known as Hugh, and she illegally performed an autopsy on Dr. Rega in order to unfold a murder. Although many Starfleet personnel get a negative record in these cases, she simply just been turned into a dog.
And I don't think it's asking too much that you do the same.
Although that happens only briefly and no dog were harmed. In 2371, the Enterprise D has been destroyed and she been transferred to the Enterprise E later on, where she actually remained as the ship doctor. Beverly had loads of personal interest. She was interested in theater, cybernetics, and even dancing as well. That's why she was actually called the Dancing Doctor. She was a master of tap and jazz dancing, and she was the one actually who trained Data how to dance for Keiko's wedding. One fun fact, Gates McFadden, who played Beverly Crusher, she was actually a choreographer and a dance instructor. Obviously close relationship that she had it with Wesley Crusher, with her son, but she has loads of friendships as well. She became a really good friend with Data, and actually Beverly Crusher was one of the first privileged member of the Enterprise crew that actually knew about Data's off switch. She formed a really good relationship with Deanna Troi. They were like kind of besties. She had a really interesting friendship with Guinan, and obviously we don't have to forget Captain Picard, who they were actually in a first name basis. And that actually reminded me of the Kirk and Bones balance, because Bones was the first doctor in Starfleet and the course of Star Trek that he called actually the captain in his first name. So basically the Dr. Crusher and Captain Picard, they maintained the first name basis relationship between each other, just as Dr. McCoy and Captain Kirk. And obviously they had multiple breakfasts together, and although the fact Jean-Luc was attracted to Beverly, he never crossed the line in respect of Jack Crusher. In an alternative future, as we got to know, Beverly and Picard, they actually were married for a couple of years, but Beverly basically divorced from Captain Picard, but she kept the name, so she was a captain of the USS Buster as Beverly Picard. As I said, the character played by the wonderful Gates McFadden. I happened to meet her in a convention a couple of years back, and she's absolutely wonderful as a person. So originally they wanted Beverly Crusher be as a school teacher, but funny enough, Bob Justman and Gene Roddenberry, they had a lunch together, and by the middle of the lunch they actually decided, okay, Beverly Crusher will be the ship's doctor, and the rest is history. Although she was a ship doctor, she wasn't really the character who actually developed a lot over the 7 years and even in the movies, but she never been that really refined character in the Next Generation. And according to Memory Alpha, Gates McFadden had to lobby for more screen time because the writers didn't really get her too much screen time. By the lack of writing, basically Dr. Crusher became just a single mother served on the Enterprise, who happened to be a doctor as well. So briefly talking about Dr. Crusher, she wasn't really the refined and the fine crewmate of the Enterprise. Obviously she was charming and she was a mother for Wesley and she was a doctor of the Enterprise, but she never been given the opportunity and the chance to actually develop her character. I think it's quite a shame because Gates McFadden is such a beautiful actor and such a talented actor, and I'm pretty sure if the writers give her more screen time and more chance to actually develop this character, we could have ended up with a more refined person at the end of Nemesis. Despite the fact I really enjoyed watching every episode that actually she been featured. I think one of my favorite Crusher episodes is Remember Me, where she actually being trapped in a warp bubble, and as the warp bubble actually shrinks down, the whole history and the whole inside universe basically just started to shrink down as well. So she ended up by herself on the ship, and you know, Wesley and the Traveler actually they saved her. So, and I think that was one of her best episodes. So I think that was my character data file about Dr. Crusher. Please let me know in the comment section below what did you think about Dr. Crusher and what was your favorite Crusher moment. As always, please don't forget to like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to receive all the geekiness twice a week. And until next time, live long and prosper.